Hello and welcome to the Public Human Resource Management course. This is Sultanat Liebert at VCU. This week's topic is performance management. Performance management is one of the most complex and unresolved issues in human resource management. This is because both employees and managers in the public sector complain about the ineffectiveness of performance management. Managers are often reluctant to provide negative feedback because they don't want to damage working relationships with the individuals that they work with on a daily basis. And employees often view performance evaluation as a subjective process. They feel sometimes that managers are unskilled at discussing their performance and at helping employees develop their skills. Performance management systems typically have two components. The first component is performance appraisal, and the second component is employee development. Performance appraisal, also referred to as performance evaluation, is an assessment where supervisors review an employee's performance at work. In a 360-degree evaluation, performance of an individual may also be reviewed by others, such as clients, colleagues, direct reports, or even counterparts from other organizations. Employee development is a joint initiative of the employee as well as the employer to upgrade the existing skills and knowledge of an individual. In my previous lecture, I talked about career development. Career development is closely aligned with employee development, but there is a key difference. Employee development focuses on someone's growth within the organization, whereas career development considers that an employee's career trajectory might take her or him outside of the organization. Despite the problems with performance management, it is an important HR tool. When implemented effectively, performance evaluation clarifies job responsibilities and expectations. This is another reason why updated and accurate job descriptions are important for managing human capital. Effective performance management also improves individual and group productivity. It also can develop employee capabilities to their fullest extent through effective feedback and coaching. A performance evaluation, for example, might reveal that an employee needs training in certain areas. An effective performance management system also provides a basis for making operational HR decisions, such as pay increase or promotion. And it also improves communication between employees and managers. There are two main purposes why performance appraisals are conducted. The first is a judgmental appraisal, which assesses how employees are performing. The second type is a developmental appraisal that focuses on how employee performance can be improved and what skills employees need to acquire to improve their performance. One performance appraisal system can rarely support both of these purposes equally well. When appraisals are judgmental, the appraisal information is used as a basis for pay increases, promotions, transfers, assignments, or reductions in force. When a performance management system is used for development, the appraisal information is used to guide the training, mentoring, and other developmental activities that employees will engage in to develop their capabilities. While it is theoretically possible to have a performance management system that serves both decision-making and developmental purposes well, this can be difficult to achieve in practice. Research has shown that the purpose of the rating affects the ratings that are observed. For example, ratings that are used for judgmental purposes tend to be more lenient, with most employees receiving ratings on the high end of the scale. When ratings are for developmental purposes, they tend to be more variable, reflecting both employee strength and development needs. In deciding on the focus on the appraisal, There are several components that make up job-related performance. The first is knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics. This is what you would typically find in a job description. We could also focus on personality traits that are important for successful performance. For example, being friendly and polite are important personality traits for a receptionist. So, a receptionist performance appraisal might include an assessment of these traits. Performance evaluation can also focus on behaviors in which the individuals engage at work. For a physician, for example, this could include explaining diagnosis and treatment options to patients in a way that a layman can understand. Finally, performance appraisals can focus on results. Fundraising professionals, for example, are usually evaluated based on the amount of funding they're able to attract to the organization. At a minimum, the performance appraisal should distinguish between two levels of performance, satisfactory or not satisfactory. A more useful mechanism, however, is to have 3 or 4 levels of performance. These typically include exceeds expectations, meets expectations, needs improvement, and significantly underperforms. Depending on the nature of the work, it might also be appropriate to assess whether an employee is a good team player. In general, assessment measures should be reliable, practical, and within control of the employee who is being reviewed. Typically, immediate supervisors conduct appraisals. A 360-degree appraisal is becoming more popular because it's viewed as being more objective. In this type of an appraisal, feedback about employee performance is solicited from direct reports, peers, clients, or even external counterparts. Self-appraisals and peer review are also done in some organizations, but these tend to result in more positive assessments than other types of evaluations. One of the critiques of performance appraisals is that appraisers, who are typically direct supervisors, do not know how to give objective and constructive feedback. This is why rater training is important. Rater training should include training on how to use the evaluation instruments, how to improve recall and documentation skills. Raters should also be involved in the development of performance standards and should be aware of the typical rater biases. They should also know the methods and techniques to avoid such biases. Raters who receive training are more likely to understand their role in the evaluation process. They're more likely to be committed to the goals of the evaluation process and be aware of the challenges that they might face while conducting evaluations. All of this, hopefully, will result in more accurate evaluations. There are several appraisal techniques that we use in public sector HR. The first is management by objectives appraisal system. In this technique, employees and managers select major job responsibilities and performance standards against which fulfillment of these responsibilities can be measured. The second appraisal technique is a competency-based appraisal. It examines the abilities of the employees, and their competencies are seen as more permanent than behaviors and objectives. Another appraisal technique is behaviorally anchored rating scales. In this tool, employees are evaluated based on a set of behavioral descriptions. On this slide, you see an example of a performance appraisal instrument for a nurse, which is based on the behaviorally anchored rating scale. The scale has some basic behaviors that increase exponentially to indicate progressively better performance by a nurse. Other appraisal techniques include Trait rating, where employees are rated based on personality characteristics that are considered to be important for effective job performance. In a critical incident technique, raters keep track of incidents of successful and unsuccessful work performance and summarize them into an evaluation. In an essay format, a rater will write a narrative essay that describes the employee performance. The quality of this type of an evaluation depends on the writing skills of the rater and on the amount of time they are willing or able to invest to write each essay. In short, there is really no universal appraisal tool that fits all positions and all organizations. So each organization typically develops its own appraisal tool that might have elements of different techniques. This is the end of the lecture on performance management. Thank you for your attention.